Good morning and welcome to Branding on Campus 101. My name is Sarah Burden. I'm the Senior Associate Director of Employer Engagement here at the Pomerantz Career Center. In addition to working with brand new employers on campus, I have also been a career advisor for about 12 years. So that's a little bit about me, and then I'll turn it over to my colleague here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joanna Halsch, and I'm the Associate Director of Events in the office. And I organize the job fairs and just can be your contact for events going on campus through the Career Center.
We are so glad that you decided to join us today. And before we begin, we made a few assumptions. We are assuming today that you have assessed your organization's needs in terms of hiring, and you've determined that hiring is part of your recruitment strategy. Now, if we're completely off and that's not where you're at and you're still contemplating whether you want to start actively recruiting on campus, that's very much okay. And we'd absolutely be welcome to working with you and providing some consulting and experience and assistance in getting the process started. Today, we're going to discuss tips for building relationships at the University of Iowa so that you can hire top talent. We're going to discuss strategies for building your brand on campus through a lot of different techniques, some that are traditional and some that are a little bit outside of the box. We'll talk about low-cost strategies as well as examples from top recruiting organizations. We're going to talk about what has worked well for other organizations as well, so that you have some ideas there. Our goal is that you can walk away with some of the basics and understanding how you can develop your brand here on campus, and at least have two new ideas of strategies that you could utilize when working with us here at the University of Iowa. And with that said, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Joe.
So we developed a top 10 list, and we've got some tips and tricks for you. So our first item here is we have to create an attractive job description. Everything you do on campus starts with a really good job description. This helps you to know what skills you're seeking for students. It also helps you to, it helps the students know if you're looking for a full-time or part-time or intern. And then, of course, you'll want to put in the job details, such as the hours worked, what responsibilities are included, where the location of the job will be, the number of openings, the pay information. That information is all very important to students, and the more thorough you are in your job description, the more it is appealing to students. Students also then want to know how to research your organization, so giving clear information about your website and how to apply. Well-written job descriptions serve as an attractor to students who don't know much about your organization. So for example, at the job and internship fair that we have in September and February, having a job description posted in HireHawk is really crucial to students stopping by your booth. If you do that job posting in advance, they're more likely to stop by because it gives the information they're looking up for upfront. So the second tip here is regarding developing your campus brand. So we have a little exercise here. So as you can see, we have Best Buy, Kohl's, Target, Hy-Vee, all these logos listed on the slide here. They're all really well-known and recognizable logos and brands. So we recognize their names and logos, but what makes them unique to students? Take a few seconds to think about what makes your organization unique. Most likely, many of you thought about some of the same things, such as diversity in the workplace, you have a great culture, maybe a great place to work, maybe it's a Fortune 500 company, flexible schedules, good salary, a great work-life balance. So this shows that maybe you're not as unique as you might think you are, so you have to prove to your students, to the students on campus, your brand and what really sets you apart, especially if you're an organization that isn't necessarily a household retailer or a household product or name. So our third tip here is to really know the facts about the university and that will help you develop a strategy. So many organizations develop a tiered strategy because you really can't possibly be at every school out there and spend days and weeks on every campus. You recruiters are very busy, and we know that. So it really helps to know your facts about the university. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you know what majors are offered at the university and what skill sets are needed for determining your strategy. We can provide you with information on departments, demographics, and numbers, and that will help you determine the time and budget you have for each university. So the next thing here is to develop your Career Center partnership. We want to get to know you recruiters. The step one is have a recruiting at Iowa call with Sarah Burden, who's doing the webinar with me, or Crystal Stockdale, who's the Director of Employer Engagement. Both of them would love to talk to you and consult and help you meet your hiring needs. So when you're on the call with them, they'll just want to learn more about you and your organization, and you can brainstorm strategies with them, and you'll want to be prepared with what you're looking for in students so we can help direct you to different departments or different liaisons on campus. You'll also maybe want to know what your competitors are doing on campus, and we can help you with some other things they've done, other events, or if you know going into it, that can assist you in developing more strategies too. And then lastly, we can kind of give you some insight and bounce ideas off each other on what's worked well and what maybe hasn't worked on our campus. Ultimately, we just don't want you to skip the Career Center. We're here as your consultants to make you successful so you can hire more of our students. Also, you'll note there's a video link here, and we'll include that in afterwards. We'll be sending out the webinar PowerPoint and an evaluation, and we'll include that webinar or the video link so that you can review the video on what our office has to offer at a later time. The other main important thing you'll want to do is utilize HireHawk.com. So HireHawk is the University of Iowa's primary online recruiting system. It's a free database, so why not use it? There's no cost for students or employers. We direct all our students to it, and this is where they seek student employment, part-time jobs, internships, full-time positions. It's really the one-stop shop for everything. It's also very easy to spend little time and money in this arena. You can develop your brand by updating your profile, like inserting your logo image, company information, and connecting to social media sites so students really get a feel for what your organization is about. Also, you'll want to add viewable contact information. Many students search for specific employers or by specific industries when researching organizations. Being a viewable contact allows them to find you. Also, what I touched on earlier, job postings. Being detailed about what you're looking for and what you're hiring for is very important, and students use HireHawk a lot for job postings. And then lastly, using the resume book is also a really great option. You do have to post a job first, but then after that you can request access from Sarah or Crystal, which will include over 4,000 resumes, and you can do some really great advanced searching on that, and then reach out directly to the students who you think fit your hiring needs. Having access to all those resumes is really a great option. So for more information on HireHawk, there's so much to talk about with HireHawk. There's an upcoming webinar on Wednesday, August 10th from 10 to 11 a.m. covering HireHawk tips and tricks. The employer interface will be updated a little bit this summer, so you may notice some changes, and of course we're always here to help you. We do have step-by-step tutorials online also, but of course, anytime you have questions about HireHawk, we know it's a complex system, we're always happy to assist.
All right, so from here I'm going to talk about a few different opportunities to increase your brand here on campus. And you're going to notice this requires a little bit different type of involvement. It's going to involve you being here right on campus, which is exciting. One of the most low-hanging fruit is to get involved in our career fairs. And Jo, as she has mentioned, coordinates those fairs. The career fairs are held typically in September as well as February. Those are our largest fairs. We will typically have anywhere from 1,200 to 1,400 students. So it's the best way to get in front of the largest number of students at one given time. Typically about 160 to 180 employers attend, and they're typically recruiting for those full-time and those internship opportunities. And one thing I wanted to note, though, is that our internship registration is currently open. We have spots available. So if this is something that you're really looking to get involved in, and we hope you are, we'd encourage you to register very, very soon. The second thing I have mentioned on here are mock interviews. Mock interviews are a great way to gain visibility and build your brand here with students on campus. Our program runs each fall and spring academic semesters. So we host these mock interviews Tuesdays through Thursdays. What we like about this program, it gives you a lot of opportunities to get here on campus in front of the students for them to see your name. But it goes the entire semester. So we're not just selecting 1 or 2 dates. We typically have about 50 or more employers in other organizations that participate in this program. And I know some of you here attending today have probably participated. And for those of you who haven't, I'm very happy to give you additional information on this program for you to consider, as this might be one of the things that you look to add to your realm of strategies. The third thing I wanted to mention was on-campus interviews. You can absolutely use our space for your interviews, and it's free of charge. We have 22 different interview suites. We have a nice waiting room for the students, and we have great amenities for our employer partners. We want to help you make this interview experience as real as possible. And by coming here on campus, it's easy access to the students. You can meet with them, have your interviews, and do all of that in one stop. Whether you want to post your position and create your interviews directly from those positions posted, or you want to bring your own list of interviewees that you've developed, let's say at a career fair. Either way is just fine. So we're happy to work with you on that, depending upon what strategy works the best for you. Last but not least, I wanted to touch a little bit more on class presentations. We hear from employers all the time, they want to get involved in classes, they want to connect. One of the great things about the courses, especially those career courses that we have coming right out of our office, is that many of them integrate employers and professional partners in a number of different ways. And this is a great opportunity for you to get involved in front of students. Whether it be sharing your career story or presenting on a career topic such as networking, branding, or developing a resume. It could also be a guest speaker or evaluator on a final project within a course, much like the Career Leadership Academy. So there's a number of different ways that you can get involved in these classes. Now, elaborating on that a little bit further, we do have some opportunities for you to get involved on a departmental basis. So connecting with departments that might be teaching in areas that you have a specific need related to your industry. Building relationships with departments takes time. So our recommendation here, if you're wanting to connect with an actual academic department, is to start asking alumni that work with you. Who are their favorite faculty? And then utilize them to connect with those faculty. We can also be of assistance as well, but using your alumni is a great tool. Then from there, you can set up a meeting. Maybe you're here for the career fair or a mock interview, but you set aside some time to have a sit down or have coffee or lunch with one of these departmental contacts. Building a rapport with them will help you absolutely in developing a better relationship with this academic department to help them determine whether you as an organization is a fit for their class presentation. Number 7, make recent hires your marketing team. Recent hires or brand ambassadors are a great way in spreading the word about your organization. They can spread the word, whether it be to current or former students. They can help you connect to faculty and staff across the entire campus because they're utilizing these faculty connections all the time. They're in classes with these faculty, so they can be a connection for you. They may make a connection with a student organization, and I'll talk a little bit more about student organizations later. They can help you brainstorm fun events that might help market your brand here on campus. So utilizing your recent hires, whether you hire them later or not, as full-time positions is a great tool to use. And finally, on to student organizations, because we get a lot of questions about these. There are over 400 different student organizations on campus at the University of Iowa. that can feel a little bit overwhelming. There's a lot of opportunities there. And you'll note here on our page that we included a link to OrgSync. OrgSync is a great tool that you can use to help identify, sort, and search through the 400 different organizations that are here on campus. From there, perhaps you can target and identify a few that meet your industry needs or the types of positions that you're looking to fulfill. There's lots of different ways that you can get involved with these student organizations, so I'm mentioning a few here. One of them is the basics, which is through presentations. Through early outreach, you may be able to schedule a time to present on a professional topic to this particular student organization. And while you're presenting information on a topic that helps them develop from a professional note, it's also a great way to advertise your organization, help them learn a little bit more about who you are. The next has to do with networking events. Many student organizations seek employers or professional volunteers to attend their networking events, and they have a variety of different types of networking events. And Joe's got a great example that I'm going to have her share with you about something that she saw be done here on campus.
Thanks, Sarah. So I'm the advisor for the Student Event Planners Association organization on campus, and they were really trying to get connected to event planner industries. And so working with the Career Center, they used HireHawk and did some searching to try and find employers that might be interested in event planning students and project management students who could organize events and things along those lines. They set up an event pretty much all on their own, just with some of the contacts and assistance, a little bit of assistance from us, and had a great turnout of 10 to 15 employers show for the networking event one evening. And it was a really great opportunity for not only employers, but also for the students to get connected with that industry. And there's a lot of niche events like that happening on campus that are a lot of times organized through employer and student org connections.
Great, thanks, Joe. The next one I wanted to mention were panels. Many of the student organizations will host employer panels throughout a semester. The panels could be on an industry or a topic that they're particularly wanting to focus on for the development of their organization members. Doing some early outreach, you may be able to get on their invitation list for the current semester or upcoming semesters. Last but not least, I wanted to mention sponsorships, and this is probably something you expected me to mention. There are so many opportunities to sponsor events that student organizations have, and a lot of our student organizations are very, very active. Activities could include maybe a LinkedIn photo booth. We've had employers do that in the past where it's been sponsored by a particular employer and provided an opportunity for students to get their photo taken. Other employers have hosted leadership conferences that have been put on by a particular student organization. And perhaps you're even willing to have a student organization come and visit you. A lot of our student organizations do what we call professional site visits, where they take their members off to a particular location, and they may visit with 3 or 4 different organizations. This is another example of some type of sponsorship that you can get involved in. Now, we wouldn't necessarily expect an organization as yours to get involved in all of these, but I think these are just a lot of ideas, different strategies that you could utilize, pick up on what you think is going to be a good fit for you. Another idea would be to develop an internship program. It is a great step to brand yourself on campus when you develop an internship program. For those of you who are just starting to explore this option, the Career Center has created a fantastic internship manual. We'll be sure to include this in the link when we send the PowerPoint and the video out in a couple days so that you have this. And we know that not all interns convert to full-time employees. However, former interns from an internship program can help spread the word about your organization, and that's why they're such a key component. After returning to campus from your internship experience, especially if you had a really positive experience, they can become your campus liaisons. They can spread the word about your opportunities, both full-time and internship, to their friends, their classmates, to faculty. The more they spread the word, the better benefit it is to you, and that essentially that natural branding that can occur. So developing an internship program is one step in helping spread the word about the opportunities you have from students who have gone through that experience themselves. All right, step 10, we're narrowing down here. Get creative. And what do I mean by get creative? Well, the world's your oyster. You could do a lot of different things. I'm going to mention a few examples here. The first one being John Deere Day. Now, each one of these examples is a little bit unique in the fact that it's outside of the classroom. These aren't your typical presentations or posting a job or getting involved in a mock interview. They're doing a little bit more. So with John Deere Day, as you'll see up here, John Deere not only visited campus, maybe did a couple campus presentations within classrooms, but they actually brought their tractors to campus. Now, we have students from all across the United States and beyond. For some students, they probably are very familiar with what John Deere was. But for some of them, they maybe just assumed that they make tractors, but they may not have realized all the different job opportunities that exist within John Deere. So by catching their attention, by bringing those tractors on campus, they initiated some great conversations with students, and students learned about who John Deere was and the opportunities that existed. Second are sophomore experience days, and we're seeing more and more organizations utilize this strategy. They're learning that targeting students earlier and connecting with students at an earlier age is a fantastic experience. Some of these organizations are hosting these experience days, and what they do within one of these days is they bring underclassmen in to learn about the organization, hear from leaders, and overall learn about the opportunities that exist within that organization. These students may not necessarily be applying for an internship right then and there, but they're learning, they're planting the seed so that later on these sophomores could experience and consider their organization for a potential internship or future full-time opportunity. The next one refers to case competitions. If you build connections with faculty or departments, it is possible to host a case competition that not only markets your organization, but helps solve a business problem that you may have or be experiencing. And at the same time, it gives students the opportunity to gain practice and get experience with real-world work scenarios. Now, it's key here that you're developing those connections early with the faculty, and you'll see that trend throughout, whether it's with a student organization or it's a department or faculty. It really helps in all these strategies to reach out very, very early. Oftentimes, we would encourage you to reach out at least one semester in advance, whether it's at student organization, faculty, or department. It takes a little bit of time. We can help you with that. You can use OrgSync. Again, we're here to help you strategize what creative idea might work best for who you are and what you're able to do here on campus to build your brand.
So to recap our campus recruitment strategies here, job descriptions, very important. Create an attractive job descriptions for students. Develop your campus brand. Know your facts and develop a strategy. Develop your Career Center partnership with us. We hope to get lots of emails after this that you want to set up a call. This summer's a great time to touch base with our staff, and hopefully you have time to review some strategies and develop some relationships with us. And utilize hirehawk.com, also very, very important to get familiar with the system and use that to recruit students.
Number 6 would be recruiting on campus, and I know that's different for everybody. You may not necessarily be local, and that's where we can help. Maybe you decide to come to campus for 1 or 2 days. We can help you make the most of this trip to campus, whether it be with on-campus interviews or connecting with faculty and departments or getting involved with student organizations. But your presence here absolutely makes a difference. The more students can see you, in addition to your postings or your involvement in the fair, the bigger impact you have in terms of them being willing to explore opportunities with your organization. Make your recent hires your marketing team. Get them involved. Typically, when recent hires or even interns come back from an experience, they're excited, they're pumped, they want to tell other people about this great opportunity. So utilize that energy when you get them on staff. Connect to those student organizations, and as mentioned, early is always better. It helps to connect at least 1 semester in advance. We can help you with that if you're struggling. And again, OrgSync is there for you to utilize as well. Develop an internship program. And whether this is something that you're already doing or maybe it's on your radar, if you're not really sure where to get started, we've got some great resources put together. But again, like Joe mentioned, we can chat with you. We can help you strategize what works and help you kind of brainstorm some of those ideas. And last but not least is get creative. There's so many different ways you can go about building your brand on campus. It doesn't have to be the same as everybody else. We hear new things all the time. It's not one size fits all. So that's where it's really helpful for you to connect with us. As Joe mentioned earlier in the presentation, myself as well as Crystal Stockdale, we hold recruiting at Iowa calls weekly with a variety of different employers, whether you're far away or right here locally. We'd be happy to chat with you. We want to learn about what your needs are, what positions that you have, so that we can help you get connected and develop strategies that are really going to assist you. Don't forget that we are going to send additional information out here, but we would like to connect with you as well. Feel free to email us if you have some questions following our presentation today. Connect with us on LinkedIn as well. That wraps up our presentation. We are going to open it up for some Q&A. So if you have questions, you want to brainstorm some things with us that are real quick, we're absolutely willing to do that. If not, shoot us an email later. Set up a Recruiting at Iowa call. We'd be happy to connect with you. Hopefully you found some benefit in today's program and presentation, and that you found some strategies that can be helpful. You've at least learned one or two tricks. And again, we're here to help you make the most and be able to hire some of Iowa's top talent. Thank you.
The first question was about sending a link, if we'd be sending a link to the webinar recording. And yes, we will be sending a link to the webinar recording tomorrow. We'll also include some additional links to check out, plus an evaluation, so we can know how to improve for future. And then, oh, do you want to take that?
Yeah, and to address the other question that was sent in about student organizations. Student organizations and getting connected can sometimes be a challenge because there's a lot of them and a lot of employers have an interest. So that's absolutely where we can help you strategize there. I would absolutely recommend that you reach out to them early. So a lot of these student organizations are already planning for the fall, or they may have already planned a lot of their events for fall. Connecting with them now, even though they may be on break or participating in internship, is okay, but then doing some follow-up outreach to them in the fall semester. Even if fall doesn't work, what you're doing is setting a path for something that might occur actually in the spring semester too. You just never know. So I would say at least getting involved with these organizations, reaching out one semester in advance is probably the most ideal.
Any other questions?
All right, doesn't look like we have any other questions. We appreciate the two that you sent. Again, we'd absolutely encourage you to reach out to us. You have our email. You can connect with us on LinkedIn and set up that Recruiting at Iowa call. We'd be happy to chat with you, discuss some of these challenges that you've had, help you strategize for your individual organization's needs. Thank you. Have a great day. Enjoy the afternoon.